Hi, my name is BC Hoffman.
And I'm Lalita Lopansri.
And this is Recipe Wars. And today, we're doing crab cakes. I just have to say it just like that because for me, this is like an integral part of where I'm from. DC, Maryland, and Virginia, the DMV, there's two things they do: football and crab. So when we were doing crab cakes, I said, you know, we totally have to do Faidley's crab cakes.
Founded in 1886, Faidley's is a legendary seafood landmark located in the world-famous Lexington Market. The family-run eatery is home to a Baltimore bestseller, the Lump Crab Cake Sandwich.
So I'm super excited. Faidley's Crab Cakes is in Baltimore, Maryland. They have some of the best crabs. It's amazing. Blue crabs are the way to go for crab cakes. That's what sets Maryland crab cakes apart. You can go anywhere in the country and get crab cakes, and they get them done Maryland style because Maryland crab cakes are amazing. That's all I gotta say on it. So I'm doing Faidley's.
That was quite the spiel you got for Faidley's crab cakes.
Just Maryland, DC, Virginia. That's what they do. I gotta rep.
I definitely believe you. My recipe is by Bobby Flay.
I'm gonna talk about what crab meat we're using. I'm gonna use a jumbo lump blue crab. My strategy for this throwdown is to sail away from the traditional crab cake and bring in a little of the Southwest with some heat and a crunchy blue corn crust.
His recipe comes from his show, The Throwdown, where he's competing against somebody else with his crab cake. So, of course, he's putting a Southwest twist on it with a little bit of heat, and he's got two different sauces that is gonna accompany his crab cakes.
I'm not even concerned about Bobby Flay. This is how it goes. Maryland crab cakes. Nancy and Bill Devine, they own Faidley's. It's a family restaurant since 1883. That's history in the making. I mean, they've been voted best crab cake by
like
every magazine, 4 generations like in a row. Yeah, it goes deep. It goes deep. So I mean, people can't be wrong. The people speak. They're right. That being said, let's get these bad boys started.
So I'm just gonna start by heating up my pan with some oil. And I'm just gonna saute off my onions, garlic, and jalapenos.
So I'm getting my pan hot. So the technique that they do, at Faidley's they do it a couple different ways. You can either get it broiled or you can get it fried. Fried is the way to go, and then finish it off in the broiler. Nancy Faidley, she even says, the way a crab cake should be is it should be nice and crispy on the outside and then moist and juicy on the inside.
And not overcooked, right?
Not overcooked. Get that crab cake just nice. You're only gonna fry it for about 4 minutes in the deep fryer. So yeah, so while I've got this going, getting hot, I'm gonna throw my oil in there. You can use any oil you want. I would highly suggest using vegetable oil, canola oil, peanut oil. I would not suggest using olive oil just because it doesn't have enough, a high enough smoke point. And
it's expensive.
And it is very expensive,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing EVOO.
So I'm gonna start by cutting my jalapeno. I want to take out the seeds, of course, because that is the spicy part. And I'm just gonna mince those up pretty fine, the same size as my onions. And then I'm just gonna sweat it out just to get that rawness of my aromatics.
So if you're wondering, there's 3 different types of crab meat. Like I said, you've got your back fin, you've got your claw, and then you've got your lump. Best one is the lump. I mean, there's 2 lumps in a crab. If you have a jumbo crab, it takes about 24 crabs just to get a pound of meat, just from the lumps alone. If you're doing the whole crab and getting all the meat, then it's a different story.
It's a lot of work, too.
It's a lot of work, but it's totally worth it. It's the juiciest, it's the best meat from the crab, and as you can tell, it's big. That's what you want. You want the lumps. Back fin tends to be good, and it doesn't come from the back of the crab. It comes from the body of the crab, where the smaller claws are. And then you've got the claw meat, which is dark brown and a little bit drier. So
they're a little more shreddy, almost like
the texture is
like canned tuna.
Exactly, texture is completely off, and it works. It's just lump crab meat, way to go. It's expensive, worth it, all the way. So I'm going to actually start off, I'm gonna whip my wet ingredients together. So I've got my mayonnaise I'm going in with, and it's gonna be a half cup of mayonnaise we're gonna throw in here. And then I'm gonna throw in, it's pretty much just a good splash of hot sauce. You wanna get all that in there? I would say realistically, maybe a teaspoon and a half of hot sauce at the most. So I've got a tablespoon of my Worcestershire that I'm gonna throw in there. And I've got 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard that I'm gonna throw in there. So you're gonna get that all out. Make sure you get the mustard all the way out.
And then I'm also gonna mix together my wet ingredients. I have some sour cream or creme fraiche. And I also have Dijon mustard as well. And some heat, some prepared horseradish.
So I mean, this is just basic, simple. These are your wet ingredients right here. So you've got those mixed. I've got my crab already ready to go. It's 1 pound. Now, if you buy this at the store, make sure it's picked over all the way. There still can tend to be little segments of the actual shell inside. Make sure it doesn't have that. So pick it out, pick it over again, because if you get the shell in there, obviously it's gonna take away from your experience eating your crab cake. So I've already gone through that. I'm gonna throw that in. Now, from here on out, everything is by hand, guys. So what that means is everything is by hand. So the last thing I'm gonna throw in there is my egg. I'm just gonna break this up, and we're gonna take our crackers, break these up. Do not crush them, because you want a fluffy crab cake. You take a saltine cracker and you put it in water, it's gonna fluff up. That's the texture that you want for your crab cake, is fluffiness. That being said, Lalita, take it away.
So I am gonna take my crab meat, put it in my mixing bowl, and my sauteed aromatics of onions, jalapenos, and minced garlic.
That does smell really good. Bobby, I give it to you on that. Like, for the aromatics and the flavor, I'm excited.
The making of mine also smells good.
I love the jalapeno in addition, but yeah.
But I'm always a little concerned, like crab cakes, they always have too much filling and other stuff in there, other schmegma that yeah.
Schmegma.
Schmegma. It should be about the crab.
That fluff.
But we'll see. And then I'm also gonna combine my wet ingredients with my crab. And then now I'm gonna add a little bit of Wondra flour, or instant flour. And what it is, it instantly dissolves really easily. Some people use it to thicken their sauces, and it won't give you any lumps like all-purpose flour, but you can definitely use all-purpose flour if you want. Just maybe sift it over your crab mixture. And that's just gonna help bind everything together.
So this right here is another big thing that they say. I know we talked about it with the burgers. I know we've talked about it with other ground beef items that we're doing. It's the same thing with your crab cakes. You don't want to manhandle your crab cakes either. Again, no manhandling the meat that you're using.
But you are a man and you are handling your meat.
Dang it, she caught me. But no, at the same time, you want to keep the lumps. You want to keep the lumps. You want to keep the texture. You don't want to make mush. It's one of the other things that Bobby Flay kind of does with his, and you know, that's why it's not as good. We're gonna let these form, basically we'll let them sit for about 2 minutes, and then we're gonna form them, drop them in the fryer for 4 minutes each, and then put them in the broiler for about 5 more minutes just to get that nice golden brownness all the way around. Boom.
So I'm gonna let my mixture sit for an hour while I start on my sauces.
And while I'm taking bites in between, I'm actually gonna start on my tartar sauce while this is sitting. What Nancy Devine's recipe has in it from the Faidley's restaurant is just simple. They do mayonnaise. Again, we've got about a cup of mayonnaise right here. It's just a simple recipe for tartar sauce. We got onion, about a half cup of raw onion. Throw that in. 1 tablespoon of pickle juice that I spilled all over my cutting board, but I also have a little bit left in here. Throw that in there. About half a cup of chopped pickles. Now another twist on this, if you want, is you can use pickled jalapenos. And that's where my Southwest is.
Very spicy.
And then I've got some parsley. I'm just gonna throw that in, mix this up, and there you have your tartar sauce, ready to go. Boom.
So Bobby Flay's twist on his is that he's using a Mediterranean-like relish with roasted red bell peppers. And here we've taken raw bell peppers, roasted it, took off the skin, and diced it. And you could buy jarred roasted red peppers, but the flavor is just not the same. And I'm also gonna add some basil in there.
Sounds like Bobby Flay's trying to get sexy with his condiments because his crab cake's just not gonna stack up.
He always gets sexy with his food though.
He does,
with all his colors and stuff. So I took my roasted red bell peppers, minced Kalamata olives, and some vinegar for some acidity. Just mix that up. And some salt, not too much salt because the Kalamata olives are already salty enough. So that's my relish number 1. And then next I'm gonna start on my basil sauce, which is pretty much like a basil mayonnaise, if you will. Rough chop it, it's all gonna get blended anyways. Some mayonnaise and a little bit of vinegar also. Some honey for sweetness.
My oil's ready to go.
Olive oil.
Speaking of oil, I was just testing it by putting a piece of crab meat in there, seeing how my oil was. It's nice and hot, perfect. So now it's time to form our crab cakes. Again, you want them to be compact, but at the same time, you want them to be loose. I know that sounds like I'm being contradictory, but you want the meat to be loose, but you want it to be a firm cake. So you're gonna just give it a nice go-to. Now, at Faidley's, what they do, what Nancy does, is she goes, the crab cake's this big because that's how big my hand is. It's about a 6.5 ounce crab cake. We're about to do the same thing. So again, I didn't pack it tight. It's just about that big. It's this big because that's how big my hand is. And yeah, let's dump them in.
So I'm just using a hand blender. I feel like the cleanup on the hand blender is a lot easier than taking out the whole blender, using that.
Totally.
So I have this really nice green, pretty green sauce. And yeah.
Okay, so I just fried these bad boys. I flipped them over about 2 minutes on each side, 4 minutes each. Again, you want it to be nice and moist on the inside. You don't want it to be too dry. And I'm just gonna put it on some paper towels to take away the excess oil before I put it in the oven to broil for a couple minutes.
And then mine, I'm gonna start assembling mine. I'm gonna use an ice cream scoop, get all the same size. And just like BC said, I want it compact, but not too compact. And then I'm just gonna dunk it into my blue cornmeal.
Ladies and gentlemen, you don't know how excited I am that I'm doing crab cakes right now the right way. Now, excess oil, turn it off. Make sure you put this in a container. There's places you can get rid of dirty oil. I would say you can still use this oil for other items, just strain it and reuse the oil.
So I'm just assembling my crab cakes and dunking it into my blue cornmeal. And if you can't find blue cornmeal, you know, use yellow cornmeal, or you can use crushed up blue corn tortilla chips as well.
Same thing, really.
Or any kind of crust you want for that matter. Panko, yeah.
So I just transferred it from paper towels to now parchment paper. These are just gonna go, they're so soft and at the same time so delicious. Boom.
They look like a huge crab fritter.
Yes.
Almost.
I'm excited. These are going in the oven, guys.
So I've molded all of my crab cakes. I got crabs.
And they're purple.
And I'm gonna heat up my saute pan. And then I'm just gonna sear it on each side for about 3 minutes each, just until they get a nice golden brown. So I've just finished searing off my crab cakes and I'm ready to plate it up. I got my beautiful basil sauce, which is basil, a little bit of mayonnaise, some vinegar.
Yeah, those look good, but not as good as these.
They seared up really nicely, this blue cornmeal, so.
Yeah, okay, ladies and gentlemen at home, I need to ask you, would you go with something that looked like this? and was a nice golden brown? Or would you go with something that looked like this and was purple brown?
Wait till I plate it.
Oh, it's gonna look pretty because of the condiments that you're putting on it. But this is a crab cake. It should look like a crab cake and taste like a crab cake. Boom. Condiments aren't needed. It's a good crab cake. Just put it on a plate. Put a little tartar sauce right next to it, just like this. Boom. Maybe a piece of lettuce, just because you need the vegetation. That's about it. That's about it.
Yep, so I just top mine off with my roasted red pepper relish, and there you go. We'll see who wins.
Yeah, sure. So, we're ready to taste our crab cakes. We just pulled them out from the broiler, in my case. And
I think mine look really, really pretty.
Yours look pretty. Mine look incredible. So I would like to say thank you very much. This episode was a suggestion from our follower, LJ. Thank you, LJ. Because of you, I am a happy, happy, happy boy right now. Yeah, so that being said, let's try these bad boys and see who, I already know who the winner is the winner.
Let's try mine first.
Yeah, let's try yours first.
You gotta get everything. You gotta get the sauce, the relish.
Make sure you get every condiment in there because that's what's gonna set this crab cake apart from a store-bought crab cake.
I think it's pretty good. I think the relish is too overpowering, with the olives, especially. I think there's too much stuff going on.
That sauce right there is killer. The crab cakes are mediocre, but that sauce is killer. That being said, I can't wait any longer. Let's just dig in. Let's try Faidley's. Faidley's a little Baltimore, Nancy and Bill Devine. Let's try your recipe right here.
Gotta get a little sauce on there.
You don't need no sauce.
All right.
This is a Maryland crab cake. Football and crab cakes, that's what we do.
It's really simple.
What do you taste?
It tastes really spongy, like the saltine crackers really absorbed, you know, the mayo, the mustard, everything you put in there. So it's kind of like a light and fluffy crab ball.
Yeah.
Cake.
Cause all
cakey, there you go. Crab cake.
So I gotta stress this right here. I taste nothing but crab in this. That's how crab cake should be. This, I taste all his condiments in a store-bought mediocre crab cake. This is Maryland crab cake at its finest.
I think yours is the winner.
Hands down.
Simplicity was key, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, all about the crab.
That being said, go to Lexington Market, get yourself a crab cake in Baltimore, Maryland, DC, Virginia. It's all the same area.
Sorry, Bobby Flay.
I'm not. Thank you for letting me have the opportunity to kick your butt with Faidley's crab cakes. This has been Recipe Wars. My name is BC Hoffman.
And my name's Lalita Lopansri.
Please subscribe to our channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. You keep watching and we'll keep cooking.